Blessings and welcome everyone. Hope you are all having a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And in this video, we are going to be discussing the more universal experiences that we're all going to be having through the course of the week, starting May 9th, 2022. And my intention for creating this was to have a forecast that talks about what else in terms of what we're all kind of going through as a collective experience, right? Speaking about spiritual themes, maybe common threads in terms of material and practical affairs, social affairs, relationship situations, and all of that good stuff, irrespective of what's going on with each of our 12 sign forecasts, which are up, by the way, for those of you who are either Patreon supporters or YouTube member supporters. And so I do have those available as well. But I also wanted to put in something that was going to talk about more of the feel of the week, what we're all going through, all signs, on top of all of that. Keep in mind that the way I do my readings, I am a predictive reader. I am doing psychic prediction work. I'm not afraid of using those words. And so if something doesn't feel immediately relatable to your present situation, that's kind of the point. If it does, that's great. Maybe you're already in this. But if you don't feel this and you can't, reflect on it for what you've been through this last week, that's kind of the point. So just, let the week happen and see what goes on there. If you are interested in looking at, more forecast footage and all of that good stuff, remember you do have your monthly tarot forecasts for May, your monthly astrology forecasts for May, as well as, yes, for those of you who are either Patreon supporters or YouTube member supporters, then weekly tarot forecasts for each sign. If you are ever interested in getting a session with me, you can always go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, engagement helps this channel out a lot. So let's get to it. What's going on with the week of May 9th? So the spiritual theme, or the main core, that is affecting all things with the 9th, or the week of the 9th, I should say, is the Chariot card upright. And so this is a week where we are seeing a lot of plans, a lot of initiatives, or a lot of connections, relationships, and story threads pick up traction. This is going to be a week of tremendous acceleration, especially when it comes to situations that have been maybe held up for whatever reason in recent weeks or maybe even recent months. And this has to do with an elimination of delays or an elimination of stalls, because the Chariot is also about overcoming obstacles. And so you're going to find that a lot of situations that may have been tied up, either due to, needing to deal with unfinished business, prerequisites, or maybe even stalling negotiations, distractions, procrastination, energy blocks of all kinds, lack of cooperation from other parties, all of that is getting pushed out. And one of the big things I'm noticing with the Chariot card upright is that this is also speaking to situations that we have been hoping would be able to finally have their chance at center stage. And though they absolutely are, especially when it comes to things that we have been maybe plugging away at, working on 4 weeks or 4 months behind the scenes, or stealing time for them whenever we can. It's just that in order for this to work, we are going to have to displace a lot of situations or a lot of involvements that ultimately have been stalling, holding us back, or keeping us in maybe a lifestyle or a life chapter or a life story that we also need to be ready to depart from, because, well, the Chariot is also about movement and transits, and we can't bring everything with us, especially if there are certain things trying to stall, hold us back, or waste time, over-negotiate, over-process, right, as a stalling tactic. This is going to be a time where everyone gets a chance to make a big break, make a big leap forward, catch up for lost time. It's just that we've got to make sure that we are ready, willing, and able to do that. Some of these plans are going back to last, June, July. That's what I'm getting from my guides. So a lot of you are going to really love this week. When it comes to material circumstances, we talk about work, job, finances, home and family affairs, practical matters, living situations, there is going to be this undercurrent of an impending transition that is going to be getting underway this week, but not completing this week. Because the Ten of Pentacles reversed, you've probably heard me say it before, can often be a bit of a heads up card. And so a heads up in terms of maybe something changing in our field, in our industry, in our market, something changing in the way our workforce is operating, transitions in terms of policies, in terms of roles, yes, possibly even transitions into new jobs or into new business circumstances that could be very helpful, but we have to be ready to wrap up and depart from where we are now. This is, however, going to be a time where there may also be a bit of chaos in the mix with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, because this is also shifting sensibilities as far as what people are looking for and what is in, what is not in, what is trendy, what is not trendy, how people feel about those kinds of things, how people feel about those standards and policies. And so there may be an adjustment period that is already beginning. And some of you may already notice that in your fields. I am certainly noticing that in the spiritual community. You know, a lot of people are looking for depth when it comes to readings and spiritual practice. They're not really interested in, you know, the stuff that got trendy this last few years, thank God. And you might be noticing that going on in your world and in your field as well. This is also a time where those of you who've been looking to move, do some traveling, are going to be getting your heads up. We can start getting that underway. But we have to clean up some old business first. I'm aware that we have Mercury turning retrograde this week as well. I did put out the monthly forecasts, but don't let that make you think that you can't actually plan for this or prepare for a transition, right? Mercury retrograde is only going to last till the 3rd of June. And so, you know, we don't want to use astrology as an excuse not to live our lives, because you can always find a reason not to be productive if you look hard enough with astrology. Pay attention to where there are opportunities to make some switcheroos that are going to be very helpful for you, right? Mercury retrograde could easily be talking about the Chariot card upright as well, talking about old plans that got stalled or delayed. Mercury retrograde, review, retrieve, revise. All of this is starting to pick up in terms of traction, pick up that momentum throughout the course of this week. When it comes to your community, friends, relatives, and other people in your life, you do have the King of Swords upright. So this is talking more about how we handle groups, how we socialize, maybe even some of our platonic connections, you know, friends and family and all of that. This isn't so much a relationship area. This is talking about, you know, community in a different way. With the King of Swords, I am seeing that this is going to be an extremely positive week for clearing away any kind of pervasive or maybe perennial distractions, impediments, or blocks to having healthy, strong, organic social connections, friends, community, family, fellowship, especially because the King of Swords is all about rooting the cause and the core of the problem out and not holding space for the problem, not holding space for what is creating the problem so long as it continues to create it. And we may be noticing this coming up in groups. We may be noticing this coming up in friendships, coming up in family situations. Anything that has been overlooked, anything that has been maybe tolerated, the King of Swords is like, no, how about we just focus on solutions for a little bit? This is also a time where a lot of really strong social bonds are getting a new kind of, let's just say a new kind of glue to them, you know, when it comes to your best and brightest, right? Your true blue friends, because team situations, collaboration situations, alliances are also getting a lot of new tools, a lot of new assistance in order to help them not only become more productive and more gainful, but also to overcome any kind of limitations or any kind of walls or fences that may have blocked them in or kept them apart from one another. This is also a time with the King of Swords where a lot of truths are coming out in terms of personality, in terms of stories, in terms of life stories, in terms of narratives that have been going on that need to be really fleshed out, things that we think we know about, but we only have the half truth. And so this could be, really illuminating when it comes to your relationships with certain friends or allies or family members, but we're really digging deep into all of this, because if those things are still affecting our life in the present, even though nobody's talking about it, they do need to be dealt with, because there could be some treasure there could be some beautiful things there, or there may be some problems there. And either way, we would want to know so we know how to deal with it appropriately. When it comes to the challenge, or what's under fire this week, we've got the Page of Wands reversed. And very much piggybacking off of the King of Swords, we have this elimination of fakery. We have this elimination of what has been a mask, what has been a costume, what has been getting faked, or what has been plastic, superficial, or shallow. Now, this can indicate, yes, superficial projects, superficial relationships, superficial credit, or maybe even, just fake people in your life are going to be coming under fire, right? This is a very scrutinizing kind of week with that King of Swords just next door. And this may feel kind of strange, because you're going to watch in all other areas of your life as well, not just your social life, but maybe even in your work life, spiritual circles you're a part of. A lot of people who've been maybe faking it, just kind of along for the ride, living as affectation, doing lip service, fake it till you make it, right? The longest con, that's going away. And with the Page of Wands reversed, that might be getting revealed, or you may be noticing a lot of people ducking out, kind of hitting the road, just bailing. But pay attention to who is bailing and why, and don't go chasing, because this is going to save a lot of projects. This is going to save a lot of money. This is going to save a lot of relationships. This is going to save a lot of family situations. This is going to be what turns a lot of May around, especially if you've been feeling like the last couple of weeks have been sort of in that weird stall kind of space. It's because maybe we weren't holding space very well, or we were holding space for the wrong things, or accommodating the wrong people, or accommodating the wrong initiatives. And this is going to be a week where all of that just up in smoke. When it comes to relationships and romance, and even how we handle, marriage or family, including our kids, so it can kind of be a double here, we've got the World card reversed, and we're going back to basics this week when it comes to relationships, because the World card reversed is all about giving something a fresh start by taking it back for a do-over. And this can actually be very, very positive for those of you that maybe feel like, yeah, when it comes to my relationship with this person, or our marriage, or maybe our family unit, or whatever's going on, we kind of started this thing, we made this lifestyle shift, recently, and it's kind of pulled us off track. It's created a lot of problems, or it's just not making us very happy. It's not what we thought it was supposed to be. Now we get a chance to go back to basics, right? We get to kind of transmute that whole situation back into its core foundations, its core ingredients, and build something else. It's like taking the cake, turning it back into raw ingredients, and deciding to either make a different cake or make a different dish altogether. This is also a time where, yes, going back to basics in dating situations, or do-over opportunities in dating situations, are also going to be very, very strong, right? Because we get a chance to try something again. And some of you may be bringing back old relationship sensibilities, right? If you are married or you're coupled, you're kind of like, I wish we stuck with that, or I wish that we didn't, walk away from that, or I really would like us to kind of have this be a regular thing in our relationship or in our marriage again. You're going to get to do that. Or if you are single or available to new people, or you've been seeing somebody recently, we get to start up again on a higher road. We get to start up again with the right chemistry, or with the right understanding, right? We've got all of these truths coming out with the King of Swords anyway, a lot of distractions getting purged with that Page of Wands reversed and the Chariot upright. So everyone is getting a chance to start over on a clean slate in love. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Leave a comment in the down bar below. Don't forget you do have, of course, the weeklies up if you are a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member supporter. And if you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.